All right, welcome back to Impossible versus Matches. This is Joseph, and with me this time I have my good friend Preston, part-time editor, full-time homie. Preston, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey there, everybody. It's very good to be here. I appreciate you having me on the show. This is quite a fun concept, and I've done some work with you in the past, Joseph, and I like what you got going, and I appreciate you having me on here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have you here, Preston. So, first of all, for those of you who are just now listening, this is Impossible versus Matches, where we are talking about some versus matches that are impossible. We've got versus movies like Freddy vs. Jason, King Kong vs. Godzilla. We need more of those, so we're just going to. But we've got 50 characters. Each of us has a list of 50 characters. We've put them all in a randomizer, and we are going to just randomly match up people, and we're going to talk about how they come together. It's not really much about the fight, it's about, how they get there. So, like a journey rather than a destination. Like, why are they crossing over? Because some of these matches in an actual fight would just be a instant win, curb stomp sort of thing. And just real quick, we've got a few rules. First off, we're not talking about same universe matchups. We're not doing Mario vs. Luigi, Batman v Superman, none of that. Marvel vs. Marvel. We're not doing popular discussions like Mario vs. Sonic, Superman vs. Goku, Marvel vs. DC. This is stuff that could never happen. We're also not doing things that have happened in popular culture, so nothing that involves like characters from Smash Bros, Alien vs Predator, Freddy vs Jason, any of that. And lastly, we're not talking about real people, so we're not throwing Joe Exotic in there. With that being said, we can get started with a first matchup. I'm going to start with the first scenario, so Preston gets a little bit into the flow of things here. So Preston, go ahead and spin your wheel and tell me who you got, who your first
All right,
person
man.
is.
Here we go. All right. So my first matchup character is Chidi from The Good Place. That's a
Okay.
show that's on TBS, or I'm sorry, ABC. Excuse me, ABC. Very good show about a handful of people who end up getting brought to supposedly what they think is called the good place, being like a metaphor for heaven, and actually end up being in maybe what they think is the bad place.
Ah,
Without spoiling anything, it's a great show, super fun. Definitely worth checking it out. And Chidi is one of the protagonists who is kind of a shy, timid, and philosophical guy. He was, I believe, a philosophy instructor at a college institute before he supposedly died in the show and went to the good place.
okay. So, I've never actually seen The Good Place, so I might need you to help me out a little bit here, but it might be easy depending on who I get on my wheel. Spinning the wheel, and we've got. Oh, this is actually pretty interesting. This might actually work. I've got Ned Flanders.
Ned Flanders, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
they're very similar characters, honestly, in the
Ned
idea
Flanders
of
from The
like
Simpsons.
both their appearance and demeanor. Flanders is like a super overwhelmingly nice guy,
Hmm.
more religious based
Very
than
religious.
Chidi, who's also definitely a nice, timid dude, but he's you know, kind of shy.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more. So Chidi, he's dead, right? Is he dead?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, figuratively, he's dead. In the show, he's a live person, though, in just the realm of what they call the good place, which is like a simulated heaven of sorts.
Okay, so then I'm going to offer this twist then. So I don't know anything more than what you've told me. So I'm going to say that at some point Chidi and Ned Flanders have crossed over. This is like a prequel sort of situation. So they've crossed paths before, and Flanders, of course, comes at him with his very overwhelming like religiousness, and that somehow leads Chidi to to the good place. Um, because like he misinterprets like what Flanders' message is or something. So
Oh yeah, no, that would make perfect sense. Honestly, I mean, within the show, uh, they're on the pursuit of the good place, even though that they're kind of more or less thinking that they're kind of in it. So it's like they're always looking for a different way. So that would be a.
So they're not there yet.
They're technically not there yet, but
I
they're
see.
in the constant pursuit.
Okay, so they're in the constant pursuit. Now he's got Ned Flanders' words, all his diddlies, all his howdly doodlies, in his head, and now over time, now we're getting into like past wherever the good place is right now. Like let's say the show is ended, we're going like this is now a sequel. We're in the future now, so at this point, so now let's say he never finds the good place at all, and he gets like really mad because this was all started by Ned Flanders. So he ends up going back and tracks down Ned Flanders at the house, and then um, probably he renounces everything. That's how this goes, and Flanders just is not having any of that, and in the name of the Lord, Flanders will uh, kick his ass.
that honestly sounds like a really good segue into how that would happen.
That's all I got. Just because I don't know your character that well, but I'm hoping that's enough of a stretch, and I didn't like make some fans of the Good Place out there like really butthurt or anything.
Listen, man, I'm a fan of the Good Place, and for you not knowing anything about it, like you did pretty well.
Thank you.
One of the great things about that show is that it's pretty. I'm not gonna say generic, but like uh, it's got a good basis to where it's like you can pick up on it, and it's like you either like it or you don't because you give it the time or you don't.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty funny in the idea of like the atmosphere setting and everything that they build, but yet it's got some quirky, dramatic sitcom flair to it. That's like, all right, it's got a solid leading cast, good characters, so it's like definitely recommend checking it out, especially now that you did this matchup. And then when you come back and you think about it and you see what the character's like and how like the premise is, you'll be like, all right, yeah, that was actually fairly good.
Yeah, I'll have to try that out because now I'm a little bit intrigued.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I guess now it is your turn, good sir, and now this time I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel and tell you who our first person is of
Sounds
this.
good.
And I was wondering when this guy would show up. He's the first person I put on my list. Kermit the Frog.
All right, Kermit.
All right, so now who you got?
Who are you gonna go after, huh? Let's see.
I hope it's just outlandish.
Oh boy. All right, we've got Kermit against King from Seven Deadly Sins.
All right, this is another one that I am just not familiar with, so I will let you go ahead and take the reins, my friend.
All right, my man. Well, the way that I would see this kind of more or less playing out is King is from this anime called Seven Deadly Sins. Netflix had taken the manga and made an original adaptation of a show revolving around these mythical characters in a fantasy setting. These godlike characters, more or less being like the Seven Deadly Sins, so like more like knight type characters with like outlandish powers, kind of revolving around the idea of what the Seven Deadly Sins are.
Okay.
So King is a young, kind of carefree, like super laid back teenager who's actually like pretty old, and he's just he's got like this like I don't know like telepathic sort of powers, and he uses like a polearm weapon, and he's got kind of like a cute kawaii flair to him at times,
Okay.
but like being like super laid back about it. So it's like he's got that childish essence about him that's not like overflowing and super enthusiastic, but like kind of like secretive and kind of out there. So it's like I would see possibly more or less for this scenario to match up to be where King's in the market for trying to go and get a new stuffed animal, and he
Okay.
ends up going into like a Muppets studio,
Okay.
and when they're like filming a new movie, and King's like off on the side, and he gets to see Kermit the Frog being just like a total ass on set, just being like, "Oh well, damn it, Miss Piggy, you gotta get the lines right." That was a horrible Kermit the Frog, but he's just like going off at the director and everybody else, and King like says something under his breath, being like, "Wow, this guy's an asshole," and that's when Kermit would go ahead and he would like they're doing whatever during their take or in between their take after he just unloaded on everybody. He's sipping out of the tea. We pull up the Kermit sipping tea meme.
Yeah.
And at that moment, he then realizes that King's over there. He's like, "What did that kid just say?" And he then waltz over with a hand up its ass because he's a puppet, and he just tries picking a fight with King.
Does he still have? Does he still have Jim Henson just like under him the whole time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant.
And he just waltz up to him and he's like, "Well, what's the big idea, guy?" And he basically just picks the fight with the wrong guy. And King's like, he just beats the hell out of him, and then he just takes him as a new stuffed animal.
I like that you made Kermit the asshole in this situation because he's usually
he's
usually not
such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, well, I'm gonna switch this up right now because it's like I just started thinking about all the Kermit the Frog memes.
Right. Now
they're just like always so snarky and sarcastic.
Now I think for like some added comedy because the Muppets are like real people, at least we all just kind of accept that they are. Like they show up on like talk shows and stuff. So I think it's funny. Like they're actually having a fight, right? And Jim Henson is just under Kermit the whole time, like doing the puppeteering. But King completely ignores Jim Henson.
I'm glad you like that.
Like Jim is not, he doesn't get hurt at all because one, how can you hurt Jim Henson? And two,
right.
and two, like Kermit's his own person. Jim has nothing to do with this. Like Jim Henson might as well be invisible in this scenario, despite him being, despite just the image of this character fighting a puppet that is controlled by like this, by like this tall, like skinny bearded dude.
Yeah.
But completely ignores him. Like he's perfectly fine. It's only Kermit.
Because we're taking an anime character and we're bringing him into IRL.
Yeah.
As close as it can be. We're gonna keep them within their creative spaces of a studio.
Right.
And we just bring it together and mix it up.
That's a pretty funny scenario. Like even if it wasn't King, just the idea of someone like not picking Kermit picking a fight with someone, and then
Kermit in general just trying to pick a fight with somebody, but and it's still just like Jim Henson underneath.
Yeah, like it's the setting of a real world, not like an actual Muppet movie where like Kermit's a character and he's got like feet and stuff. Like it's in the real world where he's a puppet in reality. it's very funny, just the image of like seeing someone completely ignore the puppeteer and is just like fighting the puppet, but the puppeteer is like struggling to like throw out little like punches with the rods, like the little wire wire rods that are holding the hands up.
Yeah.
And like, King finally takes Kermit off and Jim's like, "I'm free."
That's it. He just takes him for his new stuffed animal, and Jim's just like, "Oh, I'm free."
The spirit has left me. That's okay, that's pretty solid. All right. So I guess you wanna move on to the next one then?
Yeah. We'll hit this next scenario. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna give it a first roll here for you.
Go ahead and give it a spin. Hope I know this one this time.
Oh man, all right, this is pretty legit. I got Ellie from The Last of Us.
Okay. Girl from The Last of Us. Now I'm in a minority that has not played The Last of Us, but I have a quite hilarious matchup for you.
Oh man, let's hear it.
She's going against Dewey Finn. Do you know who Dewey Finn is?
From Malcolm in the Middle.
No, Dewey Finn is Jack Black's character in School of Rock.
Dewey from School of Rock.
Yeah, Jack Black's character.
Oh, that was Jack Black's character.
Yeah, Jack Black's character in School of Rock. So
Oh
the fake
man,
substitute
this is
teacher.
gonna be. Yeah, this is great.
Okay.
How are you gonna play this one out?
All right.
Do you know who Ellie is though?
She's the girl.
She is. She's
the main
a
girl.
14-year-old girl. At least we're referencing the first part of The Last of Us. She's a 14-year-old girl who is maybe supposedly the answer to the cure for everything. And she is just unfortunately having to, like, she's a very powerful character in the idea where she's like mature, but like also being stripped of her like childhood because of everything that's going on and the fact that like she may be supposedly an answer for what's happened to the world. So she gets put through like every rugged situation you can imagine, where it's like she's.
I've got it then.
I've
got my scenario.
All this stuff. So she's like a really strong female. Honestly, just character in general, like very strong.
But she is 14.
Character, because like throughout the whole game that you play, it's like I don't know, maybe like 9 hours or something, 10 hours. It's like you go through a lot with this girl. Yeah, at one point you play as her, and she like she's had to like kill grown men with like her bare hands. So like
right, but she is 14 though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. I've got my scenario.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is like a post-apocalyptic type world she's in, yeah? Okay, so she's going around, on her own and sees a school. And so she like goes in because she thinks, oh, a school, she's looking for some supplies. So she sees like, a rundown school or whatever. She's looking for some supplies and is like, goes into a school because a school, you can have all types of things in a school.
Oh, absolutely.
You can at least find like maybe some like sanitary products or something, like some hand sanitizer, soaps or whatever, because I mean, you don't want to get infected with all that stuff that's possibly in the world of The Last of Us, if you think about it realistically. But it doesn't matter. She's going into school. Might be food there. Who knows? So she goes into this school. This is a mistake because this just happens to be that same school from the School of Rock movie. Now, you might be wondering why this matters, because at the end of School of Rock, Dewey, the Jack Black character, is not allowed to be back at the school. So he makes his own School of Rock, like in his apartment. Well, now since the apocalypse has happened, Jack Black, the real celebrity, he's gone feral. The real celebrity Jack Black has gone insane and now thinks he is Dewey. Like
Oh
he
no.
thinks he is the character because the character pretty much is Jack Black. A lot of Jack Black's characters are just Jack Black for real.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. I mean,
but
one of the most dynamic ones I think he's got right now is where he plays the girl in Jumanji.
yes,
But it's like the whole time you're just like, this is Jack Black.
yeah, it's Jack Black pretending to be like saying things a girl might say.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, so Jack Black is known to usually be, Jack Black, but now he's gone like full, like a feral method actor. So, like, he now is legitimately convinced that he is Dewey, the character from School of Rock, and he is the only one that is watching over this school still. So, Ellie's looking around, she's looking around the school, and then, like, she hears, like, a rustling, and then she gets knocked out. When she wakes up, she's all like tied up in a classroom, and and there's Jack Black dressed in like what's left of the Dewey costume, like that like tweed suit or whatever that he's wearing in that movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
the
in
like.
like tatters, and he's like, "Welcome to my class. We're gonna learn about rock."
Yo.
It's a post-apocalyptic, so now she's trapped, listening to Jack Black babble on about like rock appreciation, and
Oh my god.
so like he's now like he's like a rabid being, so like his beard is like crazy and stuff, and he's like hobbling or he's like scuttling around, and he's got like tattered clothes, but he's still like trying to teach her how to play the guitar. He's like, "You got to be part of my class." And then of course eventually she breaks free through like saying she's got a song in her heart and wants to play or something, and he like unties her, and then that's when the fight ensues, and it's a very um you've seen the Amazing Spider-Man, right? Like the one with
I have,
the
yes. Both
so
of them.
you remember the chase with the lizard through the school?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's like that, but instead of Spider-Man, it's Ellie from The Last of Us, and instead of the lizard, it's Jack Black like crawling on the walls and shit.
Oh my god.
So basically, that starts a showdown of Ellie from The Last of Us versus Dewey from School of Rock.
My god.
I'm pretty happy with that one.
Yo, that works out pretty well, honestly, because little would you know, Ellie does like one of her like personal characteristics and traits is that she wants to like learn how to play the guitar, and Joel, the main protagonist who ends up like having to take this expedition with Ellie throughout the game, promises her at one point that like once this shit's all over, he'll teach her how to play the guitar, and that like works out pretty well, especially with that like telling
Perfect.
her is like, you're gonna listen to me play rock. You want to play rock? She's like, I got a song in my
Gotta
heart.
raise your goblet of
She
rock.
like deceives him with like she really does, but then it doesn't work.
Yeah, and then we've got like this insane feral version of Jack Black because I don't think Jack Black would handle the apocalypse very well. I feel like this is exactly what would happen. He'd just go insane.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, he would try to hold off as much as he could, and then
Yep, he'd
as
do
soon
a
as
good
he like
job.
lost, like maybe Kyle or whatnot, it would just be over.
Yep, and that's just how it goes. So I'm pretty. That's probably my favorite matchup that we've had on this show so far.
Well,
And
it's a great one
and
for sure.
Captain America versus Winnie the Pooh is pretty high up there.
Honestly, that sounds like the best one to me. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I'll be releasing that. I'll be releasing that soon, as soon as I can. As soon as I can settle on like a visual style for this show, then that's when all of my episodes are going to get uploaded. Like what to do with like visually.
Right on, right on.
But anyway, I'm going to spin the wheel for you, sir, and see who you've got to deal with.
All right, dude.
All right. Ooh, all right. It was like on the line, and then just went that one extra like pixel on our spinning wheel. You got Mike Wazowski.
I've got Mike Wazowski, huh?
Yeah,
All right.
Mike Wazowski of Disney Pixar's Monsters Inc.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see who he's going up against.
This is
Oh
just
man.
this is just Mike Wazowski. He does not have Sully.
Oh All right,
Who you
so
got?
he's going up against Duke Nukem.
Why is it
Oh,
perfect? Why is that perfect?
Oh, it works so well.
I feel like it writes
Duke
itself.
Nukem is just the American patriot who saves Earth from alien and monsters.
And what does Mike look like?
He is an absolute monster, but he's like one of the cutest monsters. We're gonna. Oh man! All right, so I think I got this. So Duke Nukem is on the pursuit of saving Earth, and he's like, I gotta rid the Earth of these monsters. They're here. They're taking on everybody. I'm Duke Nukem, smoking cigars, here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of bubblegum.
Mm-hmm.
So he's roaming the Earth, and he ends up coming across a university that's just like inhabited by monsters. He's Duke Nukem, and he's like, I know nothing but to kill aliens, monsters, and bang women. And it's like, okay. So Duke Nukem hightails it into this building, excited, trigger happy, and just starts taking on people, taking out all the monsters in the Monsters University. And it's a sad sight to see.
So he's at Monsters University now.
Pixar fans, but he's just going in on him. And Duke Nukem ends up running out of ammo in like his whole massacre, and he like takes a break, goes to light another cigar, and as he like turns around in just the part of the university that he's at, I think it's probably just like out in the courtyard or something, he sees like Mike Wazowski in the bushes with Sully, because he what is he doing without Sully? Nothing. It's Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, he's Mike Wazowski.
So he's in there in the bushes with Mike Wazowski, and Sully like tries to make a move, try to like come out and be like, I'll save you, Mike, I'll like protect you, and he like tries to say some shit, and Duke Nukem's just like, blow it out your ass, and basically just blows him to hell with just like another big freaking handgun that he's got on him. And Mike Wazowski's like, oh my god, Sully, no! And he runs out. He tries to console Sully on his last words. And Duke Nukem then ends up getting encountered with Mike, and Mike like starts getting like super mad because he's like grieving and like all of this shit just right now as this is happening. He's like, who are you? Who do you think you are? What's the big idea? And Duke Nukem's just like, I've got balls of steel. And he
it was a pretty decent John St. John.
I don't care what kind of balls you got. You killed my friend. And Mike like tries to like run up on him, and Duke like exhausted the last of his ammo on Sully because he just lit him to hell with his handgun. And so Mike's just like on top of Duke Nukem trying to hit him, just like all Pixar style.
So Mike Wazowski is in a fist fight with Duke Nukem right now.
Yeah, and Duke Nukem's just eating the shots. Just like, what are you doing? Just like, Mike Wazowski's getting all squirrely on him.
Right.
And tries to like bite him. And that's when Duke Nukem like takes him, rips him off like his shoulder, and he's got a little cut mark from Mike Wazowski's weird little teeth. And that's when basically Mike's just like pretty hurt on the ground because this big ass buff dude just threw him just straight down. Mike Wazowski's basically just a head.
Yeah.
So gave him a little bit of a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke Nukem just says. Duke Nukem says something like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and then just stomps his lights out.
Yeah, it wouldn't really be a fair fight, Duke Nukem versus Mike Wazowski, but it's a funny scenario. So
and that's how I would pretty much just like bring that together, though.
So you've decided to do the bold choice and set it during Monsters University.
Yeah. It really brought some heavy tree friends into the picture.
Now, how did Duke get to Monsters University?
Duke got there because he was just out there in his Duke Nukem cruiser.
Right.
And he's just cleaning up Earth. It's kind of in a post-apocalyptic state at this point, we could say.
Right.
And so the monsters are developed enough to where they're they're educating themselves at this university.
Oh, okay. I see. So you made Mike one of the monsters that Duke Nukem would fight, like, regardless.
Yeah, yeah. Duke
Ah,
Nukem's
okay.
just out there for the monsters and aliens. And so he doesn't even know that it's really like monsters. He's just like aliens are monsters.
I got it.
And I've
Yeah.
got balls of steel.
I thought you were going to go in a direction like Duke somehow like goes through a closet and ends up in like the monster world.
Ooh, see, that would have been better.
Like, well, because I would assume like so. Let's say the Monsters Inc. universe is like real. Okay, like there actually is closet door technology or whatever.
Right.
So like if Earth is invaded by the amount of aliens that are in a Duke Nukem game, then I feel like at some point they would end up in someone's house, like while a monster is trying to do a scare or something. So
Oh,
that
yeah,
they,
definitely.
those aliens, the Duke Nukem ones, would end up busting through the closet into the monster world, which would mean that that door is like just stuck open. So Duke would end up eventually finding this closet door and ending up in the monster world, and he just kills everybody.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with that lead. That's a way better lead.
I think they're both in like they're both in a pretty they're both fairly solid, I'd say. Little fun fact: I had like my whole list, and I did like some like practice runs like before I started recording any of these episodes just to like get my improv a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
I ended up with Mike Wazowski versus the Ghostbusters, and the scenario I thought of for them. So here's a little bonus scenario for the listeners: is so like the Ghostbusters go to like investigate a call, and they have the high energy reading like by the kid's closet door.
Yeah.
So they somehow find a way to cross over into the monster world, and they see Mike Wazowski, and they mistake him for Slimer, and that's how that goes. So they keep trying to catch Mike Wazowski, but because Mike Wazowski is like a sentient monster, the proton packs don't really do anything to him other than just like give him a shock. Like they're basically like tasing him, but they can't actually catch him, but they keep trying to catch him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is more of like just a major annoyance for Mike Wazowski
Yo.
because they keep trying to catch him, but he's not a ghost.
That's great. I really like how that is that developed from that segue there. That's perfect.
So, all right, so that is a good solid 4 scenarios for this episode, plus a little bonus one. So I think we're going to call it for the end of this episode. This has been Joseph and Preston. Preston, where can the listeners find you?
Yeah, listeners can find me on Instagram at p.m._prod and catch me on my YouTube with the same name, and also special guest editor from time to time on Craig's Kitchen under the Bearded Beer Bros associated with 469 Productions. So
That's right. That's where you can find me as well.
Appreciate you having me on, man. Thanks for listening in. Hope to do this again with you sometime, and looking forward to how this continues to roll out.
Of course. Thanks for being on.